Welcome back. Get excited. First day of school's almost here. I still get excited about the first day of school, and this is year number 25 for me. So it's always exciting. I'm just a little less nervous than I was the first year that I taught. So in a previous presentation, we talked about setting up your classroom for success. We talked about building the infrastructure in your classroom. So the little list we have here for day one, implementing a seating chart, you're going to do that before the students even arrive so that when they do arrive, you're going to show them where they're sitting, and we're going to show them that there's structure on day one. Now we're going to meet them at the door with a big smile on our face saying, welcome back, shaking a few hands, giving a few fist bumps, and get them excited to be there. The students are going to want to know about grading, so be prepared to talk about grading. Talked about before, the students already know what the school rules are. You probably want to review them. Tell them what your 2 or 3 non-negotiables are. And I've talked about it before. My non-negotiable is simple. It's one rule. Treat people with respect. I believe in the golden rule. And if you abide by the golden rule, you treat me with respect, you'll receive that back. Everything else, we can figure it out. Next, and probably the most important thing of day one, is do something cool. Get the students excited. Do something that makes them want to come back for day two. So what's that person going to do? Use this opportunity to establish rapport with the students. Now, this is important. Be flexible. It's going to be chaotic. You're going to have students switching in, students switching out, students not knowing where they're going, students not knowing what lunch they have. First day of school is very, very exciting, and you set the tone, but it's also very, very chaotic, so you need to be flexible. The first day of school sets the tone for the rest of the year. That's why we want to get them in that seating chart and show them that we're going to have structure. It sounds cliche, but you only get one chance to make a first impression. Make the best of it, and you do that by setting up your classroom for success before the students even get there, greeting them with a warm smile and a warm handshake, and showing them that there is structure, but this is going to be a fun learning environment. That's what your goal should be for day number one. Get excited. Again, our mottos for the week are remain flexible and set the tone. So on day two, we're going to teach something. We're going to remind the students that they've returned to school to work and to learn and to have meaningful learning. So whether it's a 15-minute lesson or a lesson that goes the entire class period, we're going to have them do some sort of work. Now, again, remember, we need to be flexible with this because there are students out there that don't even know they're in class yet. They've not been switched in from class leveling and other things. So make sure that the lessons that you give them are easy to make up or even optional for the students who were not enrolled when you started the class. So typically I'll use some sort of case study or something that I can just give them a 2 or 3 page case study to take home as homework to get caught up on day two. So keep that in mind. Again, put them to work, but keep it flexible for the students who aren't there yet. Days 3 through 10. These next 8 days are critical to the success of your entire school year. What you do with these days is critical. And what we're going to do is we're going to have students work every single day for the next 8 days. Doesn't matter what the assignments are, but they're doing some kind of work. Now, again, remember, because there's going to be kids transferring in and out, that you need assignments that are easy to make up and posted online so that it doesn't take a lot of effort on your part to show the student how to make up the work. We're going to enforce our seating chart. We're going to enforce the classroom rules. We'll probably allow students a little bit of leeway on tardies for the first 3 days, but after that, we're enforcing tardies. But the culture you set over the next 8 days will determine the success of your classroom discipline for the entire year. And it's interesting when I get a new student who transfers in later in the year. They may pull out a cell phone and start texting. And I'll tell them, go ahead and take a look around the classroom. Do you see anybody else doing that? And then you get the No, I don't. And then I tell them, look, you need to acclimate to our rules, or we're going to have an issue and we're going to have to fix that issue. So the culture you set over these next 8 days is critical to having a great school year. Here's a pro tip for you. Post your lessons online. I post every lesson online. You can actually take my course from home and pass the course with an A because everything's posted for you. On day one, I show the students how to find my lesson plans, how to read them, and what's expected of them. That way, if they're out, if they miss school because they're sick, because they're on a field trip, because they're visiting a family member, they're not missing anything. They can keep up with me online and they know how to do it. I also put all my lectures and notes on PowerPoint, and I do voiceovers just like I'm doing right now, so that kids, if they miss a lesson, can actually hit play and have the same lesson as the students who are in the classroom in front of me. The reason I'm mentioning this right now is that if you do have students who miss the first 10 days of school, once you educate them on your process and show them how to find the lessons, they can make up the lessons at their own pace, so they're not falling behind with their current lessons. I'm going to go into a lot more detail about this because it's very important. But right now, to keep it simple, post your lessons online. There's usually a platform of some sort from the school system that you can use to post them. I'll say it again. You only get one chance at a first impression. So there's going to be schedule changes. Students are going to be added to your class. Students are going to be dropped from your class. And especially during those first 10 days, you're going to see a lot of switching. Having said that, there's two ways you can react. You can react like the woman on the upper left or like the woman on the lower left. Which one do you think is going to get a more positive response from the student? Again, you set the tone and you set the beginning of the relationship the first time you meet them. So this is their first impression of you. You can either be like, oh, not another one. We don't have any seats for you. Or you can be like, welcome, let's do this, man. Glad you joined our class. So set the tone. One of the most important things that you can do on day one is captivate their attention. For me, my go-to is I will take a snake out of an aquarium and walk around the classroom and show it to them. In the lower left, you can see a hognose snake that I captured and brought in for the kids one day. He acts like a cobra, and when that doesn't work, he rolls over and plays dead. That's what hognose snakes do. They're actually really cool. Upper left, you can see a chameleon. So I will always have something that a little bit of shock and awe to captivate their attention. That's because I love what I do. And every single teacher who's watching this video right now, there's a reason that you chose your subject and something that you love about it. With me, it's catching lizards, salamanders, frogs. I was that kid at 6 years old who, if you ever watched the movie Old Yeller, who would bring in a bag filled with horned lizards, Texas spiny lizards, a whole host of things and dump them on the floor when I was 6. So I enjoy doing that to this day. And when I bring them in, the kids they love it. So it's a really, as my wife says, bizarre thing, but the kids love it. The weirder you act, the more the kids think you're just the coolest thing. So what is it about your subject that you absolutely love that made you want to teach this for the rest of your life? And you can do this with any subject. If I was a historian, I've talked about it before, I might put up a map of Civil War battles and walk through that and talk about some of the things that made the battle successful. If I was an English teacher, I might pick a story that was important to me. And I'd tell them, I'd start building some rapport on day one, telling the kids, and I think that's something you should add to this is tell the kids why you teach this subject, why it's so important to you. Share that with them and let them know, and they'll get excited for you. If I was a math teacher, I might play Jenga, and I think Jenga is the one where they have the little whatever it is where you pull the little sticks out until it crumbles, and explain to them that that's all physics and math. So whatever got you excited, share it with the kids. It will pay dividends later on. I think about school is not something that students naturally hate. It's a learned behavior. When kids come to school, aside from a little anxiety of being away from their parents, they're really excited to meet other kids, play and learn. And somewhere along the way, we lose them. They learn not to like coming to school. Well, some of the kids will always like coming to school, but some of the kids don't. And it takes me back to a principal that I had my first 5 or 6 years teaching. And he was leaving for winter break, and there was a student sitting on the steps of the school. And the principal looks at him and goes, you can't stay here forever, joking around with him. And the kid's reaction was like, I know. Because school was his happy place. It's where he got away from it all. And remember that. Remember that for some of the kids, you're literally going to be the best part of their day. How powerful is that? That you're going to be the best part of their day. For some of you, you're going to be the best part of their life. You're going to change lives. So start that on day one. Build that rapport and get the kids excited about your subject and about you. Get some buy-in. It's a powerful, powerful, important thing that we do. You're all heroes, and I love working with all of you. All right, you've endured me for however long this video's gone. Thank you for that. I'm going to give you one pro tip. Again, some of you may already be doing this. I know some of our very, very talented teachers do this on a regular basis. But find a positive reason to call home for our students. So after 5 or 6 days of teaching, you're going to identify some students who you know at some point there's a high probability you're going to have to make a phone call home. So find a reason to call home for a positive reason on behalf of this student before you have to make that phone call. It's a little bit awkward. When you call and say, hey, I'm from your son or daughter's school, the parents are instantly defensive. And then you tell them, look, I'm calling to tell you how great your student was today. Your son or daughter was awesome. They were on task the entire time. I thought they were a great role model for the people around them. I just wanted to say that he or she is doing a great job, and take them out for dinner tonight. Reward them in some way that you can, or let them borrow the car or go out on a date. So, but I would encourage you to call home and build a rapport with the parents, because at some point you're going to need that alliance. So I did this. What I used to do is on Fridays. On Fridays, I would pick 3 students, and I would even, I certainly made contact with parents of students I knew I was probably going to be calling home. And then I'd pick a couple who did a great job over the course of the week that really, really should be rewarded for this. And so I would do that on Fridays. And sometimes if you build enough rapport, I would ask the class, is there anybody grounded? Is there anybody who needs a favor out of me? Because eventually I'm going to call that favor in when I really need a student on task or something. So, and sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I'm grounded. Do you think you can call my parents? I'll be like, did you do your work this week? You need to give me something to work with here, man. Especially at the beginning of a Friday, I'll say, look, you need a phone call. I need to do your work. Let's make a deal here. So it's an awkward phone call because a lot of times these parents are used to getting a lot of negative phone calls. And when you tell them, look, your son or daughter was on task and did a great job, it's great. Now, here's the big reward for you, is I did this, and about 8 weeks later, I call home, and the parent goes, put my son on the phone. And I go, okay. I go, it's for you. I handed him the phone, and he literally had to pull the phone away from his ear. You could hear her screaming at him so loudly. And what I heard is, that is the one teacher that actually likes you. What are you doing? And that's incredibly powerful. Had I not made that phone call home, do you think that conversation would have gone that way? I might have been on the other end of that phone call. So develop your alliances with your parents, build that rapport. All right, if you've learned anything from this video, please hit the like button. Um, I'm planning on shooting about 60 videos this summer. I made a list of all the things that I wanted to talk about. Some of them are very, very powerful tips like the one I just gave you about positive phone calls. So if you subscribe, you will receive those tips as they come across. All right, if you're watching this, you're a hero. Um, I'm so proud to stand with all of my other teachers and work with you. I really am, swear to God. And I thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you on our next one. Thanks.